So this is 5 pi over 12 is the same as 75 degrees. So we're really looking for the cosine of 75 degrees. Okay? Now, on your unit circle, 75 degrees does not exist. But can you find me two angles on your unit circle that add up to 75 degrees? So this is the same. The cosine of 75 degrees equals the cosine of 30 plus 45, right? Well, now we can use our sum and difference formula. And we're going to think of 30 as the alpha and 45 as the beta. Got it? So we put our finger on the cosine formula, because this is what we're finding is cosine. If we're looking for sine, use the sine formula. And it's going to be cosine of the first guy, which is 30, times cosine of the second guy, which is 45, minus sine of 30, sine of 45. I'm just plugging in the values for alpha and beta into that formula. So now you look at your unit circle, and the cosine of 30 is root 3 over 2, and the cosine of 45 is root 2 over 2, correct me if I'm wrong, and then the sine of 30 is 1/2, and the sine of 45 is root 2 over 2. So we multiply straight across on these two and these two, so we've got root 6 over 4 minus root 2 over 4, which really is root 6 minus root 2 over 4. Now there's a way to check this, because we know that we just found the cosine of 75. So on your calculator, type in cosine of 75. Make sure you're in degrees. When you put cosine of 75 in the calculator, you get 0.2588190,451. And now we're going to put this in the calculator. So you do root 6 minus root 2 and hit enter, and then divide by 4 and hit enter, and you get the same ugly decimal. So that is a correct answer. The first thing I'm going to do, that says cosecant up there, by the way. Let's fix that. The first thing I'm going to do is write down my formula for cosine of x minus y. And it's just like alpha minus beta. The alpha is the x and the beta is the y. It's the first guy and the second guy when you think of the whatever's in the parentheses. So that's going to be cosine of x minus y equals cosine of x times cosine of y plus sine of x times sine of y. Okay. Here they give you information about x and y. Here's some information about x and here's some information about y. We are going to draw two different coordinate planes, one for x and one for y. We're going to draw a triangle in each one. If you notice your instructions, it says that x and y is between 0 and pi over 2, which means they're in the first quadrant. Does everybody see that?
Wait, where did you get that?
And now on x, this is the x information and this is the y information. So on x it says cosecant of x equals 13/5. That means sine of x equals 5 over 13, and we know SOHCAHTOA means that it's opposite over hypotenuse. And we can easily find this side over here, which is a 12 using Pythagorean theorem, okay, which you've done before. So over here, if cotangent of y equals 4/3, tangent of y equals 3/4, and tangent is opposite over adjacent, and you can easily find this one, which is a 5. So if we look at the x picture, in order to fill out the formula, we need the cosine of x and the sine of x. So the cosine of x, if you just look at your picture, is going to be 12 over 13, because it's I put a 13 over 13. 12 over 13 because it's adjacent over hypotenuse. And the sine of x is 5 over 13. And over here, the cosine of y is 4 over 5, and the sine of y is 3 over 5. Now you got all the guts you need to do the equation. So the cosine of x minus y equals the cosine of x, which is 12 over 13, times the cosine of y, which is 4 over 5, plus the sine of x, which is 5 over 13, times the sine of y, which is 3 over 5. So the math would be 48 over 65 plus 8 over 65, which would be 56 over 65. I'm sorry, it's 15 over 65, so that would be 63 over 65. So, if the cosecant of x is 13/5, that means the sine of x is 5/13, right? Right here? Yeah. So I can find x because I just do second sine of 5/13. Everybody do that. Second sine of 5 divided by 13. And that's 22.6198, right? So x equals 22.61986495. I'm not going to round right now. Well, if the cotangent of y is 4/3, that means the tangent of y is 3/4. So if you do second tan of 3/4, you get 36. So y equals 36.86989765. Okay, well the problem was find the cosine of x minus y. So I'm going to take 22.61986495 and subtract that 36 number. We're going to get a negative number. We're going to get negative 14.2500327. So really they want me to find the cosine of that. So what is the cosine of that? It is 0.9692307, right? You see it? And what is 63 divided by 65? Oh my God, it's the same number. It's the same number, so we're right. Guys, we verified identities on the last test and you liked it so much. We're going to do this one. And here they use a theta.
Did you grade that test yet?
Yeah, no. So here they're asking us to verify that the left side of this equation equals the right side of that equation. We're just going to let the math take us there. We know the formula for cosine of something minus something, right? And it's going to be cosine of the first guy times cosine of the second guy, and the second guy is theta, not negative theta, plus sine of the first guy times sine of the second guy. Everybody see that? Now we use our unit circle. What is... What is cosine of 180? Negative 1, right? Times cosine of theta. You cannot find cosine of theta. Theta is a variable. Plus sine of 180. Sine of 180 is 0 times sine of theta. Well, what happens to the 0 times sine of theta?
It cancels.
So it's equal to negative 1 cosine of theta, which is negative cosine of theta. What is it supposed to be equal to? Negative cosine of theta. We have arrived.